Are you a whack rapper? Let me ask you a question. If I was to ask you, who is the worst rapper in the industry? Who would you say? Would you say Logic? What about Lil Uzi? Amigos? What about Trippie Redd or Future? Let me tell you something. What about Silk the Shocker? Well, I came across this video that talked about why Silk the Shocker was the worst rapper, and there was 3 things that I took away from this that any rapper, artist, producer can use to, I guess, to not fall in these pitfalls or sidestep these.
Unlimited versus.
Stunt number 1, before his time.
Silk and P equals though, come on, that's simple mathematics. Niggas wanna be more famous than rich.
We don't speak no more, we let our money talk. And girls, niggas wonder why the girl got that funny walk. I stay live and direct, always give respect, always cash checks, I'm rich like that.
No limit, take around my neck, so check the respect to the sign. Y'all wanna play, but I guarantee you won't play for the second time.
Time being the key word. It's something Silk has been accused of never being on, when it relates to rapping, that is. The counterclockwise flow. He's taken a lot of criticism over the years for his style of rap, one that was called counterclockwise because it sounded how records do when you play them backwards. But at least we can all agree that his flaws actually was what made him different and stand out then and even now, especially now. Why? Because there's no one to compare him to. In a time like today, for these reasons, anything different is for sure to take center stage and have unlimited success. 1, everything sounds the exact same for the most part.
Do something else! Do something else! That's it! That's all we want! Do something else!
Stunt number 2, never wanted to break boundaries. A quote from allmusic.com that perfectly describes how I feel about what may have caused Silk the Shocker not to have the long-term success he could have, and this was to his own admittance. Speaking in interviews, he stated in so many words that he never wanted to be the best rapper. He was just doing his thing, making sure his family-owned label continued to be pushed towards selling more records. Stunt number 3, and no need for the sound. Another huge growth stunt as a rapper for Silk the Shocker was the No Limit sound being all but tiring beginning around 2003 until they released their final album of the era in 2006. Silk's 4th album, My World, My Way, was released in 2001 and went gold 3 years later. In 2003, No Limit filed for bankruptcy and Master P would sell the No Limit catalog. In 2004, Silk released album number 5 based on a true story that showed the effects of the label being at its lowest point, and also that the gangsta sound and formula No Limit was used to was about to transition into something else and usher a new era into hip-hop. No Limit was known for their hard work in producing and releasing the most product, therefore having the most success, but in doing that, their sound became saturated and overused in an industry whose fans were transitioning into wanting something different. With Silk, as stated before, not really caring about being the best rapper, he fell back on his success and hasn't released an album since until 2018. Silk the Shocker and No Limit's sound was completely dead as Master P and Silk himself seemed to move on from the music predominantly and focus on business. All in all, I think Silk is a great hip-hop story, and I'm proud to have been a supporter of his artistry back in the day with seeing the man he's become. A total gentleman that doesn't involve himself in typical rap beef or drama and is able to be objective about himself as a rapper. He's achieved lots of musical success and even with the unfavorable critiques had his own lane that should be saluted. He seems like a great person and was part of historic hip-hop works, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy Jason.
Okay, so I came across this video on YouTube and I thought that it would be great content for the rapper and producer community, and it talks about stunted growth and 3 things that stunted this rapper's growth. And let me see. The first thing this video talked about was said, he said he was before his time. When you're a rapper, producer, timing is everything. You have to be on timing. It's the reason why there's a metronome. The tick, tick, tick is the reason why the drummer set the tempo. When he goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's all in timing. And the number 2 thing is that he never wanted to be number 1. He didn't really have the drive to be number 1 or just to be the best or whatever. He just, and I think the video, I'm pretty sure the video talked about how he was just doing it just to help keep the lights on in the company, which I get. I respect that. You know, that's his brother. He want to help out the fam. But at the same time, after so many albums, you gotta want it. Like, the lights been on. Master P and No Limit Camp was putting out album after album after album. It seemed like every month they was putting out album. So you gotta have drive. That's the second thing. And the third thing that stunted his growth was saturated sounds. And like I said before, because they was putting out so many videos, the sound got saturated and it didn't evolve with the time. Towards the end of the, I say, towards the 2000s and in that area, the music scene started to change. The sound of music started to change. What people liked started to change. We was getting closer to the era of MP3s. CDs was starting to fade out around that time. And at that time, as an artist, he didn't change. He didn't adapt to that. And that is the 3 things you need to do as an artist, producer, or pretty much in any industry. So, with that being said, let me know if you're guilty of any of these things. I know sometimes I can be off timing. Other than that, there was a period where I didn't want to change because, like me, I grew up in the, I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s where eras where it was like I listened to Master P, No Limit, Tupac and Biggie's and things like that. And after a while, you can start to see that those sounds, they start to fade out. It's the new music trend starting to come in. Pretty much in any industry. So, with that being said, let me know if you're guilty of any of these things. I know sometimes I can be off timing. Other than that, there was a period where I didn't want to change because, like me, I grew up in the, I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s where eras where it was like I listened to Master P, No Limit, Tupac and Biggie's and things like that. And after a while, you can start to see that those sounds, they start to fade out. It's the new music trend starting to come in, just like that. So, hit your boy up. Let me know.